Single dad janitor took down 4 men with a mop. The CEO froze when she learned who he was. The sound of glass shattering echoed through the marble lobby just as the janitor tightened his grip on the mop, his heart pounding not with fear, but with memory. In that single frozen second, the man everyone ignored became the only thing standing between chaos and survival, and no one yet knew that the quiet janitor was about to change the fate of an entire building, and a powerful woman's life, forever. If you believe that kindness, sacrifice, and second chances still matter in this world, take a moment right now to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that remind us what real strength looks like. Every night, after the last elevator doors closed and the city lights shimmered against the glass walls, Daniel Hayes pushed his cleaning cart through the headquarters of one of the largest corporations in the city. His uniform was plain, his shoulders slightly hunched, his eyes always tired but alert. To most people, he was invisible, another janitor wiping floors no one thought about. But every mop stroke carried the weight of a man who woke before dawn to pack lunches, braid his daughter's hair, and remind her that even when life takes everything, it cannot take dignity unless you give it away. Daniel was a single father, raising his 8-year-old daughter after the sudden loss of his wife, working double shifts just to keep the lights on and food on the table. The corporate building paid better than most places, but it demanded silence, obedience, and invisibility. On that night, rain hammered the windows like an omen. The lobby was unusually quiet, the echo of Daniel's footsteps bouncing off the polished floors. He had learned long ago to notice things others ignored, the tension in the air, the flicker of lights, the sound of rushed breathing. When the glass doors burst open and 4 masked men stormed inside, adrenaline surged through his veins before fear had time to settle. They moved fast, confident, armed with desperation and rage, slipping on the wet marble as alarms began to scream. Employees froze, scattered, or hid behind pillars, their expensive suits powerless against raw violence. Daniel didn't think about being brave. He didn't think about heroism. His mind went somewhere else, to his daughter asleep at home, trusting that her father would always come back. His hands tightened around the mop handle, muscles remembering discipline from a past life he never spoke about. As one attacker lunged forward, Daniel moved with instinct sharpened by years of survival. The mop swung low, sweeping legs from under a man who crashed hard onto the floor. Water splashed everywhere, turning the lobby into a slick battlefield. Another attacker rushed him, only to be met with the full force of a spinning handle, knocking the wind from his chest. The third slipped, panicked, while Daniel used momentum and balance rather than brute strength, neutralizing threat after threat in a blur of controlled motion. The 4th man hesitated, shocked that a janitor had dismantled their plan in seconds. Fear finally broke his confidence, and he fled as security alarms blared louder. The lobby fell silent except for heavy breathing and the distant wail of sirens. Daniel stood there, mop dripping, heart racing, surrounded by fallen men and shattered expectations. He didn't raise his arms in victory. He simply leaned on the handle, catching his breath, already worried he might lose his job for what he'd done. From the upper floor, the CEO of the company, Evelyn Carter, had watched everything unfold through the glass railing. She was a woman known for sharp decisions and icy composure, but her hands trembled as she descended the stairs. She had seen security fail, panic spread, and then something unexpected, a janitor moving like someone trained, controlled, precise. When she reached the lobby, her eyes locked onto Daniel, not with anger, but disbelief. There was something familiar in his posture, something that stirred a memory she had buried deep under years of boardrooms and profit margins. As emergency responders arrived, questions filled the air, but Daniel remained quiet, eyes down, already preparing to be escorted out. Evelyn asked for his name, and when it was spoken, the world seemed to tilt. Daniel Hayes. The name struck her like a wave. Years ago, during a disastrous overseas incident involving her company, one man had saved her life, a contractor who pulled her from burning wreckage and shielded her with his own body before disappearing without recognition. She had searched for him for months, but corporate chaos buried the truth. That man's name had been Daniel Hayes. The realization froze her where she stood. The janitor everyone ignored was the man who had once given everything to protect someone he didn't know, just as he had tonight. She saw now the scars he never mentioned, the discipline in his movements, the humility in his silence. And she saw something else, a father who had been paying the price for doing the right thing without asking for anything in return. In the days that followed, Daniel expected termination, maybe even legal trouble. Instead, he received a call that changed his life. Evelyn had ordered a full review of his past, his service, his sacrifices. The company didn't just apologize, it offered him a position in security training, a stable income, benefits that could finally give his daughter the future he'd been fighting for alone. More than that, Evelyn ensured his story was heard, not as a spectacle, but as a reminder of the unseen heroes walking among us every day. Daniel never asked for praise. What mattered was walking his daughter to school without exhaustion weighing down his steps, cooking dinner without counting every penny, and knowing that doing the right thing hadn't cost him everything this time. Evelyn, changed by the encounter, restructured corporate policies to protect and uplift the invisible workers who held the building together. One act of courage had rippled outward, reshaping lives far beyond that rainy night. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that real strength often wears the quietest faces, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and let us know your thoughts. And before the ending, we have a special request. Comment the word respect if you believe every unseen worker deserves dignity and gratitude. Because sometimes, the greatest heroes don't wear suits or titles. Sometimes, they hold 'em up, carry the weight of love, and stand firm when the world needs them most.